and welcome back to EuroCup 2023, hosted by the wonderful Rainy City Roller Derby. We're here for Game 2. I'm Dork Mistress.
I am Duke Special.
And we have our wonderful producer Jack Skatington with us. And we're here to bring you Toulouse versus Paris. So this is going to be an exciting and tasty game. So the lineup for Paris.
Yeah, for Paris we have 1-2 La Moche, 1-3-9-5 Legs, 1-4-1 Bonnie Tegul, 1-6-0 Moshe Moshi, 1-7 Lux, 2-1 Track Sparrow, 2-2 Rosianne, 4-9-5-0 Star, 5-4 Bully Bunker, 5-5-5 Gypsy Queen, 5-6 Cass, 7-1 Louvre, 7-2 Sally Boyer, 9-1-1 Guinness Paltrow and 9-9-9 Kiki Frenetique.
And they are playing Roller Derby Toulouse, who are 0-1-8 Kata, 0-6 Champagne, 1-1-1 Roller La, 19 Sweeney, 1-9-1 Missy Hammer, 2-0-2 Billy the Kit, 2-2-0-8 Tank, 28 Baboon, 49 Trash Panda, 64 Jacques Decker, 713 Alice Tariq, 72 Nina Backdraft, 747 Lily Love, 934 Why So Serious, and 999 Kill Bull. Now these two teams have played each other a number of times. They play in the elite tier of French Championships. Last played each other in February, and they with Toulouse taking the win by a significant margin. But that was, you know, a whole season ago, if you like. So there is plenty of time to. There is plenty of time for them to have changed. Both teams have been out playing in Europe this sort of autumn and summer period. Paris doing very well when they played Rainy City and Crime earlier this year.
Yeah.
What are you looking for from this game?
I mean, I think it's going to be exciting. I mean, Paris and Toulouse obviously had the advantage that they came back from coronavirus lockdowns a lot earlier than a lot of UK roller derby. But obviously that isn't going to be an advantage against one another here because they're both French teams. I mean, I'm just looking for an exciting game.
Me too. And we are having a slight technical issue, so there is a slight delay to the start of this game. So we are looking forward to that starting as soon as we can. But an opportunity to talk a bit more about this weekend. So this is EuroCup. We are having a tournament style. It's not round robin. There is going to be a winner. So there is, so each of these games really matters in terms of how the teams progress. So the winner of this game is going to...
they will be going on to Game 5 today, playing our lovely, lovely hosts, Rainy City.
And the loser of the game today will be going into Game 4, and they will be playing Dock City, who were the losers of Game 1 against London, if you haven't already caught that up. Sorry that we spoilt it for you.
Yep.
So there is a lot to play for in terms of these next games. Will sort out where sort of positioning, what sort of half of the tournament they're going to go into. And obviously everybody wants to sort of a nice, tasty matchup against Rainy City is what both of these teams is going to want.
Absolutely. I mean, either way, everyone who comes out of this, whichever game they go to, is a winner because you either get to have a lovely game against Dock City or a lovely game against Rainy City.
And interestingly, Paris or Toulouse haven't played Dock City recently, so I think this would be an interesting game for them to... It'd be an interesting game for them to play. So we are still just sorting out the technical difficulty. So it's a chance to talk about some of the people who've helped us bring this tournament to you, at home or if you're in the venue. So, we have a track sponsor who is Sovereign Transport Services. And so they are sponsoring the STS track, which is currently filled with people warming up. They're a transport company delivering goods throughout the UK and Europe. Warehouse and storage facilities are available at their Liverpool depot. And you can check them out at sovereigntransport.com. And then we also have, if you are looking at coming to the venue tomorrow, and you should, because this is going to be, such an exciting weekend.
Absolutely.
And we have a bar and a photo booth here at the venue, so if that's a reason to come. So bar sponsor is Track Brewery, who are a craft beer brewery based in Manchester. And if you follow Rainy City on Facebook or on social media, you would have saw they've actually been creating a beer with Rainy City. You can check them out at www.trackbrewing.co.uk. And also, if you are enjoying this, I know it's only been one game so far, but even that was an exciting,
it was a great game.
It was a great game. Just sort of make sure that you are hashtagging Roller Derby EuroCup in all your social medias, and we can sort of highlight those that make us laugh.
Yep.
Yes, or bring us interesting facts.
Or just, show us pictures of your cute pets.
Always.
We like cute pets.
Here for pictures of dogs.
Yeah.
In particular.
Dogs, cats, I've had to leave my cats at home today. They don't understand roller derby. I've tried explaining to them at length, but they just don't get it.
I think it's that they don't want to get it.
Oh, you think it's that? Because if they understand it, then they'd have to be more understanding about the fact that sometimes I leave them on their own for an hour or more. And that is the worst thing that's ever happened to a little cat.
So even worse than that is that we are still experiencing some small technical delays. So a chance to talk about Paris and Toulouse. So Paris played rainy earlier this year. They've played L'Homme and Nantes. They've played Tiger Bay. They've played Bear City. They've played Norrköping. So they've played some of the top 10 teams, but they've also been playing in that sort of 10 to 15 range.
Yeah.
Roller Derby Toulouse have been much more focused on French teams through French championships, but also were at Anarchy, so they played London and Rainy. So both teams have played Rainy, so they'll want a rematch because Rainy took the win in both circumstances, so in both opportunities.
Yeah.
So, I think they'll be very focused on winning this game means we get a matchup against Rainy. We get a chance to, and all of this is about rankings because you may have seen that they've announced that European Championships is going to be in June next year in Malmo. It's going to be super exciting.
Malmo, FOMO.
And everybody is going to be focused on their ranking points, in the first quarter of next year because they're going to want to be at European Championships. And this is, probably the biggest tournament that is going to happen before rankings close for European Championships. So I think you're going to see a lot of people focused on not just winning today, but also that points differential that's going to beat those sort of predictor scores, is going to give them those ranking points.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully some clever bench tactics like going, we may not win this game, but we're going to pull an extra jam just to try and close the points differential because it is all about the stats and the rankings.
It is, and the predictor on WFTDA's website is saying that Toulouse are going to win by about 30 points. So it'll be really interesting to see where the differential and where that ends up. But I think as we're still having the technical difficulties, we get to carry on talking about the game.
We do.
I don't know if you've played with the rankings predictor, but it is so much fun. Because you can put in different teams and it'll tell you what they're expected to do.
Yeah.
And then you can also put in, imaginary scores and see what would happen if.
Oh, I like it.
I spent, I'm not kidding, 2 hours last night playing with this and looking at all the different scenarios. So at the moment, Toulouse Roller Derby is ranked number 4 in Europe. Paris is ranked number 6.
Yep.
In between them is Nantes. So you have 3 French Roller Derby teams in the top 6 in Europe. And I think that's the first time for a long time that's been the case.
That's exciting.
And it was because Nantes hosted West Track Story in June. And I think surprised everybody apart from those people who'd been watching French Champs with how well they did. They beat every team except London. So that was unexpected.
Yeah.
So if you look at the predictor saying it's going to be a close game.
Yeah.
And especially when you think when they played each other in February, there was over 100 points between Toulouse and Paris, with Toulouse taking the win. So they're already predicting that Paris are coming up. If Paris have been working really hard, training has been going really well, it could be even closer than that at the start in this game. You always do the bit, you have a look down, you think, which are going to be the close games? I always thought this is going to be the close game. This could be the surprise of the weekend.
Yeah.
Could be. It'd be really interesting to see what Paris have been doing over the last few months.
Yeah.
And I think going and playing the Rainy weekend or against Rainy and Tiger Bay was great practice for this weekend.
Yeah.
Toulouse have been playing Barcelona and Madrid, so different choice of teams, and haven't played as much in the last few months. So So I don't know how this is going to go. I think it's going to be squeaky tight.
I think it's going to be, well, I mean, we might have announcer cursed it now, but I think it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a fun game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a fun game whether or not it's a tight game, but, you know.
And also very different styles of teams. Although they play each other at least once a year, they know each other very well. Toulouse, very physical team. Paris have always been very strategic and tactical. So it's always an interesting game to watch those two styles come up against each other. And if it gets tight, how do the teams change their style to each other? Because it hasn't been that close for a long time.
Yeah, of course, Toulouse have the MRDA team, Toulouse as well, and have, and I mean, I presume probably train with them. It would make sense. That's just my assumption. And it'd be interesting. I would imagine that affects some of the play style because, I say this as a fan of MRDA, it tends to be a more physical game. Some of which is play style, some of which I think comes down to, like, you know, how you skate, how you travel around the track, whether or not you can do that really cool side surf thing with your hips.
So it looks as though the technical issues are being resolved, and we're at 3 minutes until the game starts. Yay! So a chance to talk about some of the other sponsors and supporters who are helping the tournament come on. So we have bench sponsors, so Roller Bones. Roller Bones wheels and bearings, and Bones bearings make for a winning combination. I've been skating on Bones since 2011 and can testify. And Roller Bones wheels are designed and manufactured in their own plant in Ventura, California, USA, which allows them to maintain the tolerances and quality standards, providing the best wheel experience.
I tell you, if you want an advert for Roller Bones bearings, I bought a pair of Roller Bones bearings when I started roller derby in 2012. I am still skating on those bearings.
I'm hoping you have cleaned those bearings.
Maybe twice. That's not even a joke, I think
there are
twice.
A number of people that work in skate shops right now crying.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. Yeah, I mean, I genuinely, like, pre-coronavirus, I didn't retire. I just took an extended break, and when I came back from that, I went, I should clean my wheels and my bearings, and what I actually did was just skate the dust out. They make crunching noises.
Lovely.
But now they run smoothly again. So that's my personal endorsement for Roller Bones bearings.
For those of you at home, please don't do this.
Please don't do what I do.
No. And our other bench sponsor is Sucker Punch Skate Shop, the biggest roller derby shop in Europe. Fast shipping and the largest stock, expert advice at the best price. And you can check them out at www.suckerpunchskateshop.com. And I've been there, and it's lovely.
Yes.
It's like a massive palace of things that I want to buy.
A palace of skating.
So we are 1 minute and 16 seconds until the start of this game.
It's exciting.
I'm so looking forward to this game. I've been looking forward to this game since I saw it, you know, that we were going to be here to talk about it.
It's going to be great. Also, I've realised unintentionally that when I got dressed this morning and flung on, I was going to say it's not pearls, it's plastic, like bought in a charity shop, but I'm wearing functionally pearls, so I can clutch at them if exciting things happen.
I, as usual, have dressed as though a 6-year-old got given a credit card.
It's the two looks of roller derby is excited 6-year-old or 70s dad. What you can't see on the stream is that this is a full velvet suit. This isn't just a jacket.
Gorgeous.
The trousers are also red velvet.
It is gorgeous
it is
for everybody at home. Right, and the skaters are coming out on the track. We are going to have roller derby.
We're going to do a thing. Skaters are excitable. They're doing that little thing where they all get into almost a rugby scrum on the track. Because obviously we here on the stream have got a little bit of a view out the window. I can tell you that our lovely Toulouse pivot just took a little bit of a tumble, getting overexcited. And now you get to see what we can see. So we are off with Missy Hammer with the star for Roller Derby Toulouse, Lamoche with the star for Paris Roller Derby. Looks like that is Lamoche knocked to the inside of recycled, but makes it out.
But Lamoche able to push out front. The wall wasn't quite strong enough to hold them back, which means they've picked up lead jammer.
Yeah, Lamoche now engaging at the back. Oh, a beautiful spin there to grab those points as we've had a star pass there to Champagne for Paris. No, Toulouse.
And that's forced the call off. So it's Toulouse who are playing in the blue, and it is Paris who are playing in the white, if that's not clear.
Always good to, be completely clear, and I will possibly still get it wrong anyway. I can only apologise in advance.
So very quick first jam. Paris just taking the 4 points and calling the jam to avoid Toulouse getting off the scoreboard.
We now have the jam matchup of the C's, Kata and Cass. Kata for Toulouse, Cass for Paris. Oh, and that is Kata off with a forearms penalty.
But it's again the quick call off. Neither team wanting to give the other any opportunity to score. And actually both teams, neither team picked up points in that last jam. So 2 jams, 4 points. That's a tentative start.
I thought there was a jammer penalty, but it looks like it wasn't.
No, if you're watching this at home, you can see on the on the top of your screen when the blockers are in the box as well as the jammers.
Yes, I forgot how numbers work is what happened there. Jacques Decker for Roller Derby Toulouse is, however, now off for a sit down in the box. Legs also not lead jammer, so we can have a 2-minute jam.
This will go the full 2 minutes. And it's Legs who's pushing out up front. That's solid defense work from Toulouse, but they got pushed out of play.
So now we have Legs on a scoring pass, has picked a quick 4 there, extending that tiny, tiny lead that Paris had.
I think this is really important in terms of that momentum and the psychology and saying we're coming out, strong, because this is the 3rd jam that Paris are sort of in control and able to score points.
You could say that they want the world to know. Sorry, that just got into my head. Meanwhile, Jacques Decker is back on track, snatching that star.
But the defense work from both teams is absolutely incredible. I mean, Legs has been on a scoring pass now for over 30 seconds and unable to get past. And announcer's curse, just as I say that.
Yep. A lovely attempt there at the drawback from Champagne, but Legs now out, picks up those 4 points, comes around on another scoring pass. I mean, there's a set to the shoulders of, oh no, not again, which is fair enough.
So it's Paris who are holding Toulouse at the back, and it's Legs who's pushing out up front against that wall from Toulouse. And this is what we're seeing in games at the moment in top levels of European roller derby, is just the defense is so strong that it's running the game.
Absolutely, and there was a quick star pass at the end there to Champagne. But that, I think, was no points on the board there for Toulouse, and a 12-point jam for Paris roller derby.
So we are 4 minutes into this game. Paris, the only team to have scored, and has scored 16 points. That's a very big message. Be interesting to see what Toulouse do in the next couple of jams to try and change that dynamic.
Absolutely. Both teams starting with 1 blocker in the box, so the pack is even. We have got Trash Panda for Roller Derby Toulouse, Star for Paris Roller Derby. And that is going to be Trash Panda with... Oh, it's not lead, it's a cut.
And it's also going to be a 2-minute jam, as Star had taken the helmet cover off, so they are not eligible for lead either. Not aware of the cut track, I presume.
Yeah.
So this will be a full 2-minute jam, but it is a power jam to Paris and a chance for them to really extend this lead out in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I mean, Paris currently with the track advantage as Star comes in on a scoring pass. Oh, takes a big hit there, knocked to the inside. Recycled back in a little bit of a sort of tumbling washing machine of blockers.
And it's just Toulouse up front, when they've got the Paris jammer behind them and they're at that sort of wall up front and very static, they are able to hold the Paris jammer for 10, 15, 20 seconds. It'll be interesting to see how they do that more in a dynamic, in the pack. But when they've been up front, they've been absolutely solid.
Absolutely. That is Trash Panda now out and on a scoring pass.
Oh, and a beautiful apex jump from Trash Panda.
Gorgeous stuff. That's going to be Trash Panda getting points on the board for Toulouse, coming around now on another scoring pass. Trying to find a hole through as Star goes for a sit down in the box.
So this is a huge opportunity for Toulouse to change the momentum in this game. So it's a cut track for Star, unfortunately. Trash now having their own wall up front, holding them back.
The lovely Toulouse blockers, they're coming in, all piling in, trying to make a hole for Trash. Nina backdraft there, trying to make a space for Trash.
And they call the jam. Star is standing, so this will start as a power jam to Toulouse, but they will have 10 seconds or less until the Paris jammer is released. But big, you think this is going to be a big jam for Toulouse, but both teams picked up 8 points. So although Toulouse are off the scoreboard, they're no closer than they were at the start of this jam.
So it was a big jam for Toulouse. It was just also a big jam for Paris.
And we have a quick official timeout, so everybody on the STS track is just getting a bit of a breather.
Have a little moment to, have a breather, potentially have a super quick, I was going to say plotting, that's not the right word. Maybe it is plotting. Let's go with it. We're going with plotting. What I meant was planning.
And everybody's congregating around the S1 jam line. S1 sponsoring the jam and pivot lines during this tournament.
Yeah.
Check them out at shop.s1helmets.com.
So with our power start, we have Missy Hammer taking the star for Toulouse, but Star is released almost immediately from that penalty box.
And look how spread out these packs are. The pack definition and understanding of bridging and distance from both teams is excellent, particularly Paris up front.
Absolutely. Missy fights it out, takes that lead jammer status.
Second jam in a row, lead jammer for Toulouse. And that was a big hit on Star from Missy Hammer.
Wow.
Ate up another in the sort of 8-9 seconds, and then in roller derby that's a lap.
Unfortunately, Missy Hammer there picking up a cut track penalty off for a sit down in our lovely penalty box.
And we're 8 minutes in, and this is what, the second jammer penalty?
Yeah.
Second or third jammer. It's quite a high number for this early in the game.
It really is. That was a beautiful move there from Star, who seemingly sort of velcroed onto that Toulouse blocker in order to stay semi-upright and in bounds. Unfortunately knocked out, recycled all the way back into turn 2. No, spoke too soon. We're going to have some backwards roller derby. Let's all go backwards. Which, to be fair, is a great penalty kill from Toulouse, because the longer they're going backwards, the less time Star has to score points.
And we see a Star pass. So it is now Bonnie Tagoul who is the jammer for Paris.
And Missy Hammer returns to the track, now back on that scoring pass. Finds a gap through, but I don't know how. Picks up a quick 4 points there.
So this jam roller derby Toulouse now on points. Paris only just coming around to score points. Missy and it's Missy Hammer again with the apex jump, hit out to the inside.
I mean, that was a gorgeous penalty kill there from Toulouse, managing to prevent Paris from picking up any points in that whole 30 seconds. Now we've got Bonnie Tagoul knocked to the inside and recycled back.
And that jam comes to an end, but Toulouse have scored more points than Paris, 8 playing 4. Oh, 5, apologies. And that is, I think, the first jam this game where Toulouse have outscored Paris. So,
I think so.
And we've sort of seen over the last couple of jams that this sort of momentum, Paris came out full, like 100%. Toulouse are now coming back into the game, and that's what's making it really exciting. 16 points for Toulouse, 29 for Paris. Quick official timeout, 21 minutes left in this half.
Yeah, it's an exciting game so far. It's feeling a little bit like maybe Toulouse have had a couple of jams. They've gone, oh, okay, that's how you're playing.
Yes.
We'll do this.
And, we're just seeing such incredible levels of defence, an elite roller derby at the moment. How any jammer gets through these walls just astonishes me.
Don't know. Looks like we've had a little bit of a change to some of our jammer matchups. We've got Lamoche coming out for roller derby Toulouse. I believe that is Kata. Wrong way around. I'm going to get this right eventually. Lamoche coming out for Paris roller derby. I think it's Kata coming out for roller derby Toulouse, and it is Kata off for a little sit down in the penalty box. So Lamoche on a power jam.
if you're watching at home, what does not help is that Toulouse are playing in blue but with white helmets.
I think that's why, well, I'd like to say that's why I keep getting confused, but actually I'm just reading badly. Limoges now has lead jammer status.
And is coming around to score points against just a 3-pack from Toulouse, but it's a lovely hit out and recycle.
Looks like Kata is taking the seat there for a back block penalty. Meanwhile, Limoges on a scoring pass, trying to find a way through, but those Toulouse blockers have shut down, knocking Limoges to the inside, who looks to the bench, goes, do I call it? Do I accidentally do a track cut while I'm looking at the bench? Don't do that.
And that was great timing by the Paris bench about when to call it off, because they were, rather than just going at the first opportune time, it's like, no, this is the right time. We're not going to make any more out of this jam. And Toulouse are coming back into the pack to score points. Now is the time to call that jam.
Absolutely. It's all clock management as well from the Paris bench, which is lovely to see, where they're just like, well, we're still ahead on points. It's not a big differential, but it is a differential.
And it's creeped out another 3 points.
Yeah.
They are now 20 points between the two teams.
That's maths we like. Jacques and Decker for Roller Derby Toulouse. Cass for Paris Roller Derby. And it is Cass at the front of that pack, pushing and pushing. I think that was possibly a foot out.
It's a forearms.
But it was a forearms, so the foot doesn't matter. So Cass off for a sit down in the penalty box, which is an opportunity for Jacques and Decker. I was going to say to get lead, but Jacques and Decker has removed their helmet cover.
Yeah.
So.
But again, you can just see this like 2-on-1, 1-on-1 defense is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's lovely stuff. And it's great seeing that clearly they've trained this, like, as soon as you hear a whistle and you're not the front jammer, just take your hat off.
And unfortunately, with the number of jammer penalties that we've been having in this game, that's not always the right decision.
Yeah.
But once you've trained it, and that's the instinct.
Once it's a reflex, it's a great reflex until it was a
Oh.
penalty. Not a, that was beautiful from Cass. Just coming up the inside like a streak of lightning.
Came out of the box. Everybody focused on what was in the pack.
Yeah.
You know, I think that was a failure of Toulouse to realise that Cass was coming out.
Yeah.
And they left the inside wide open for that lovely apex jump.
And Cass just went, I'll have that line, thanks. Zoop. So meanwhile, I believe that is now both jammers on a scoring pass. Jacques and Decker having some trouble there on the outside line. Only the one hand down, that is allowed. Jacques and Decker once again mired in the pack as Cass just zooming past like there is no pack.
And Toulouse now have a blocker disadvantage. So Cass now facing just 3 on track.
And Cass is doing what I like to call the jammer teleport maneuver, where you see them arrive at the back of the pack and then suddenly they're on the far side of the track and you don't know how they've got there.
And Cass again left Toulouse, leaving that inside line open, and Cass was able to take that with comparatively little sort of effort, which has led to Paris picking up 12 points in this last jam and Toulouse picking up 8. So Paris just extending their lead out, probably a pass per jam at the moment, apart from that big jam. And you know, that actually, no, I didn't have all the points in. Both teams scored at 8 points. I'm not going to talk anymore. No, it's 12 points to Paris.
Points are state of mind.
Yes. 12 points to Paris, 8 points to Toulouse in that last jam. So again, just eking out that gap, 4 points by 4 points.
Interestingly, lining up, Paris have gone for a really, like, 2011 flat four wall all the way across the line while they're, I presume, just holding space before they take a formation. But I like it.
And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
But they weren't braced enough. The jammers had a lot of impact when they hit the back of that line.
Yeah. Trash Panda with the star for Roller Derby Toulouse, but it is Legs picking up the lead jammer status for Paris Roller Derby. Trash Panda stashing that star, trying to find a gap, trying to get through possibly to the pivot there. I can't quite see the number. That's 934.
Why so serious?
Why so serious? But not able to make that contact, makes it out instead. Not lead, but out on a scoring task.
Forces the jam to be called off, which is really what I think, you know, you want in that situation, and it is a team timeout to Toulouse. Not unexpected at this stage. I mean, you know, we were in the situation where, you know, according to the predictor, according to the rankings, Toulouse should be, you know, in the lead at this stage.
Yeah.
And they haven't even got half the points of Paris.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see it playing out.
Yeah. We said it would be spicy.
We did.
And, you know, that's definitely proving to be true.
Absolutely.
And so while we are in this team timeout, opportunity to thank all of our crew, our officials who are here at the tournament, and sponsored by Rydell, who have been advancing the sport of skating for 70 years, no matter your rink choice. I mean, flat track, obviously. Rydell has figure skates and roller skates you will love, and you can check them out at www.rydellskates.com. So, in the game so far, 12 points has been the highest scoring jam, which was Paris, and that was with the power jam. Yeah, the problem has been the number of jammer penalties. At this, you know, at this level of the sport, you would not expect to see so many jammer penalties in the first sort of 15 minutes, and I think they've really held, I think, particularly Toulouse back.
Yeah, definitely. It's the penalties are telling the story of this game so far, which has been interesting. It'll be interesting to see if it continues that way or whether they've, you know, taken this team time out to have a little chat and go, stop playing penalties, guys. That's not what you're supposed to do. Missy Hammer with the star for Roller Derby Toulouse. Lamoche with the star for Paris Roller Derby. It is Missy Hammer at the front there. And I mean, that team timeout did something because that is Missy Hammer with lead jammer status. Coming around fast. Looks like Lamoche is really trapped in that pack. Oh, makes a quick star pass there, though, to our lovely pivot. That is 1-4-1, I believe. Ah, it says so now. Bonnie Tagoul. So Bonnie now coming in, putting that pressure on, but Toulouse really need the points, so they're going to have to rely on the power of their blockers.
And you can see Missy Hammer looking to the bench, do I call it, and Toulouse, I think, as you say rightly, playing this long, trying to, you know, they believe they can hold back Bonnie Tagoul, so it's worth trying it long, but Bonnie is out and back now. It will be approaching the pack any second.
Yeah. And I mean, that is Bonnie on another scoring pass as Missy Hammer comes back in on her scoring pass now, trying to at least equal the points that Bonnie's grabbed.
Nina backdraft there with some great positional blocking, denying Paris the chance to form a wall in front of Missy. Great sort of track awareness.
Absolutely.
Don't have to hit, you just have to be in the right place.
Yeah, and the right place is often in the way. Oh, that was a lovely sort of step side surf twirl from Missy. I don't know what it was, but it was beautiful from Missy Hammer, staying in bounds. Grabs another 4 points. Coming round on another scoring pass.
Bonnie actually going for the hit on Missy Hammer before being hit out to the outside and recycled. Both teams, you know, on similar scoring passes, and we've seen this a number of times when, particularly when there's been no lead, but this one we're playing long, where both teams score the same.
Yeah.
And usually multiple scoring passes as well. So this is the highest scoring jam of the game so far, and it is Paris who sneak that one extra point, 14. Toulouse picking up 13 in that jam. 65 now playing 37, which means the gap is 28 points between the two teams.
Yeah.
And we have 14 minutes left in this half, but we have an official review going on.
I believe that is Toulouse calling the official review. We will bring you the details of that as soon as we have them. Would also like to take this moment to say, just give some love to 1390 from Toulouse, who unfortunately can't be with us this week.
1903.
1903, I'm so sorry.
We miss you.
Yeah.
But we hope you're home watching this incredible game. You know, and a big thank you to Rainy City Roller Derby for hosting this fantastic tournament and providing these wonderful streaming services.
Yeah.
I know that there's viewing parties all over UK and Europe.
Yep. So send us photos of your viewing parties. Tag those.
Yes, it is Roller Derby EuroCup is the hashtag.
Hashtag Roller Derby EuroCup.
I've done my usual thing, which is I turn up here and take no photos and have no memory.
That's because it's a secret. It's fine. We've got our lovely official tournament photographers to take photos for us and make us look cool.
Yeah. And another of the sponsors, league sponsor, is Triple S, the certified sweat saver from 888, top of the line safety standards and unmatched fit options. And They also have the best features and fit options of any Derby helmet on the market. So not just any helmet, Derby helmets.
Yeah. I was briefly distracted there trying to work out how difficult it is to say certified sweat saver.
And now you know.
Yeah.
So we are still in the official review.
Yeah. I think so. We're still in the first half of the game. It's like that too. Both the official review and the first half. We're only sort of just over 10 minutes into this game.
It doesn't feel like that.
It doesn't.
No.
It feels like we've had more game than 10 minutes of game.
And I think it will just be really interesting to see. So Toulouse, they had their timeout. They came back a bit more on fire. This is not the Toulouse we expected,
No.
I don't think. So it'll be interesting to see how they recover from sort of this official review. And interestingly, so far, Toulouse have had 17 penalties, and Paris have only had 7.
That's almost double the penalties.
Yeah.
No, more than double the penalties. I can do maths. Because double would be 14.
So the official review, thank you to our wonderful producer, Jack Skatington. Toulouse are looking for a cut track penalty to be assessed. So the teams will be informed, so we will be able to find out the result of that shortly.
Yeah.
Also, we'll keep a sneaky eye on the penalty box and see if anything changes.
That is usually the easy way to tell.
The penalty box remains empty, so we're just waiting for confirmation, but we suspect that the official review was not upheld.
We have a hunch.
We have a hunch.
Meanwhile, we have Kata with the star for Roller Derby Toulouse, star with the star for Paris Roller Derby. I don't know why I haven't noticed that before. That's really pleased me. Both jammers having a proper fight here, but it looks like it's going to be Kata out with lead jammer status.
That was a scrum is the best word for it, and if I'm Welsh, I obviously know and love rugby. It did feel like that as opposed to two defensive lines.
Absolutely.
And
that was a lovely bit of skating coming there from our Toulouse jammer, just sort of finding a little gap, dancing through it, turns around and goes, I'm just going to call it. I've got 4 points. You have no points.
I think what was really interesting in that start was that, what you are starting to see, apart from, because we've been seeing these static defence lines, of 3 that are very strong. But what we're seeing in games sort of that I've been watching over the past few months is that it's all about the dynamic walling, and that looks like a scrum. It looks messy, but actually there's a lot of defence going on at the same time.
Absolutely. Jacques Decker for Roller Derby Toulouse, legs for Paris Roller Derby. It is legs making out first for lead jammer status there.
So the last jam was the first jam Toulouse have kept Paris at a 0 score this game, and this is jam 11.
That's impressive. I mean, legs looking to change that, but getting a big hit there from that Toulouse pivot. Knocked back, recycled all the way to turn 2 as Jacques Decker comes around on the scoring pass. Forces that call off. So we can see from our lovely jam ref that there was no points on the score for Toulouse. 3 on the board there for Paris Roller Derby, which is possibly the lowest scoring jam we've seen them have.
Apart from the ones where neither team has scored.
I'm thinking of the ones where there's been a score.
Yeah, I mean, not even letting them take the full 4 points. That was great work from Toulouse to get out and just minimise the damage.
Lovely stuff.
So 68 points now, playing 41, and we have 11 minutes 47 seconds left in this half.
And that is Cass, who bounces up the inside line but does not make it through cleanly, and so Trash Panda will be your lead jammer for Roller Derby Toulouse.
Great work by Trash Panda, who everybody was watching Cass, so Trash took the outside and was able to sneak lead before anybody noticed.
It's fabulous stuff. Cass going with the star stash, sneaks through there, and Trash sees it, calls it, goes, no, it's good, I'm just going to have my 4 points, call it off. I'm right by my bench, so I can just go straight there.
And we have an official review called by Paris. So while we are in this official review, chance to talk about the next game.
Yep.
Ooh, so game 3, which is due to start at 1 o'clock, is Crime City versus Helsinki. And it's the last game today that is new team, sort of fresh teams playing each other.
Yes.
So if you stay with us, then at 3 o'clock, as we said, it's game 4, so it's going to be the loser of this game will be playing Dock City. And then at game 5, Rainy City will be playing the winner of this game.
So it's going to be exciting whatever happens. I mean, I think it's still too early to say. Obviously, if we stopped now, then you'll be seeing Rainy Paris and Dock Toulouse. But we do still have 40 more minutes of roller derby to play.
And I think that, both teams are so experienced, and have been playing as a team, for so many years that, yes, we are 20 minutes into the game, but as you say, still 40 to go.
Yeah.
And, Paris in the lead at the moment have control of the game on the whole. Doesn't mean that we're still going to be in that position,
Yeah. And it's with a 23-point difference. I mean, we've all seen a 24-point scoring pass.
Yep.
If a jammer has a really great run.
Yep. So for the official review, Paris are asking for a back block penalty to be assessed. And that's what the officials are all discussing.
I have just seen them disperse and give the information now to our benches. So we'll get the outcome of that to you as soon as we find out.
We said this game would be exciting.
We did.
That it definitely is. And we're seeing, really exciting tactics, footwork.
Tic-tacs.
Tic-tacs.
If you look really closely, you can see them. No,
So both teams are going back to their roller bones benches. There was no backblock penalty assessed. I am guessing because the penalty box remains empty.
Yeah.
And
we're a reasonable guess.
We're underway again.
Oh, that is Lamoche. Picks up a speedy lead jammer status there, but chased all the way out by the Toulouse pivot, being followed about a quarter of a track behind by Missy Hammer.
And gets the 4 points and calls the jam. And, this is the good tactic when you are in the lead. Get the 4 points and call the jam, because it is time management, it's clock management, but also you're keeping control of the game by doing that.
Yeah.
4 points, hit it. 4 points, hit it.
Yeah, hit it and quit it.
Hit it, and it just means that you're taking the points, and it's the 30 seconds between each jam as well. Even if the jam is only 20 seconds, that's nearly a minute off the clock.
Meanwhile, we're seeing a fun tactic here where everybody tries to take the S1 jammer line together before suddenly leaping in at the 5-second call. Doesn't seem to have favoured anyone particularly, though, with both Kata and Legs, with their respective stars being trapped by that pack. At the moment, we have got Kata towards the front of the pack, just 2 left to pass, bridging all the way out now as Legs is recycled all the way down back to our jammer line.
And again, great understanding of pack distancing and 10 feet, but it is Kata who has pushed out.
Yeah. I think this is the longest we've seen anyone trap Legs so far. Oh, we've had a little star pass there, though, to Bully Bunker, as Kata comes in on a scoring pass, looking to grab those points before Bully gets round. And just does that hip flick, tries to grab that last point, calls it off.
So, importantly, second jam in a row that Toulouse have had lead. And I think that's probably the only time this game that we've seen that.
Yeah.
And so much of roller derby is about that momentum. If you can pick up, 2 or 3 leads in a row, you're switching the mood of the game. You're taking the control.
Absolutely.
And, Toulouse will want to be closing this gap. We've got 9 minutes left before half-time. They're going to want to close that gap down and go into half-time, level pegging will be their aim right now.
Trash Panda out for roller derby Toulouse, hoping to make that 3 leads in a row. Cass, trapped to the back, though, by those Toulouse blockers, but finds a hole and sprints to the front, grabs that lead jammer status. Trash Panda, again, maybe only 20 feet behind, so really putting that pressure on. And I think we're possibly going to see the pack speed up now as everyone tries to save their points. That is, I think, exactly what we're seeing. Cass signalling. And it looks like Trash Panda might have snuck those 4 points there.
The audience believes so, from the amounts that we can hear in the venue.
I think, in fact, I'm waiting. I'm kind of waiting because I'm waiting for the. That was 4 points on the board there for Toulouse. No points on the board for Paris, which is, if you don't get lead, but you do get points, and the other team don't get points. It's
only the second jam that Toulouse have held Paris to nothing.
And with Paris having lead jammer status, I think that's more impressive from Toulouse, really.
Yeah.
Jacques and Decker for Roller Derby Toulouse, Star for Paris Roller Derby. Star is at the front, though, caught by those Toulouse blockers. That Toulouse pivot there, just absolutely throwing their hips forward like, no.
And again, we're seeing, these two lines of defense, usually Toulouse up front and Paris at the back.
Toulouse losing one to the box. Meanwhile, Jacques and Decker caught at the back. That Toulouse blocker off for a
multiplayer. It was multiplayer, and it's lead jammer now for Star for Paris.
That was a good sort of 45 seconds into the jam before Star was able to make it out, which is lovely stuff from Toulouse.
And interestingly, Star was so concerned about whether they'd cut track, it let a Toulouse blocker come back and hold them back, which is 747, Lilove.
Amazing stuff from Lilove there, just one-on-one blocking with Star. Like, I am one-woman war.
So while we look for the points for this jam, what we're seeing is you're seeing these two static lines of defense, and it's usually the Paris jammer pushing Toulouse wall at the front, which means you are more likely to get lead because you're at the front. Not every time.
Yeah.
And I think that's been very much, we're not seeing so much of the scrum and the dynamic walling at the jam line. It has been much more separated in the initial pass.
Which is...
Paris picking up 3 points in that last jam, taking them to 75. Now 22 points ahead of Toulouse.
Yeah, we have got Kata out for Roller Derby Toulouse, Lamoche for Paris Roller Derby, and it is going to be Lamoche who grabs the lead jammer status there.
Again, Toulouse up front, wall up front.
Yeah.
Lamoche able to push out.
Oh, and we have lost Kata to the penalty box on a forearms penalty. So this is a power jam for Lamoche. Following through 1-for-1 there from Paris, that is Bonnie Tagoul trying to find a gap. I think he said trying to find a hat. Might be trying to find a hat.
There was some really good offense going in from Sally Breuer from Paris. I was just watching that, going, that's goals. But the jam again, 3 points to Paris. So I think this is the third jam in the last sort of few where Paris haven't been able to pick up all 4 points, but are still 3 are enough.
Yeah.
Eking out, sort of stretching out their lead. So they are now 25 points ahead of Toulouse, and we have 5 minutes left in this half.
Paris with the power start, but Kata is standing in the box. We have Kata and Cass, and it is, let me get this right, Cass, who is still on the track. Oh, a really attempted massive hit there from Blue 7-2 for Toulouse. Doesn't quite land it. As Cass grabs that lead jammer status, goes for the apex jump, not confident they landed it, so recycling all the way back now, almost into turn 4, just to make sure. Kata pushing and pushing, makes it out, stashing that star.
So Cass at the back of the pack sees Kata approaching, calls the jam. But Paris did pick up points.
I think that might be 3.
It is 3 points. So that's the last 3 jams.
Yeah.
Paris have picked up 3. And Toulouse held to nothing.
3 for 3.
And, we've talked about, I was talking about how Toulouse are going to want to change this up running into half-time. We have 4 minutes left.
Yeah.
And Paris, for the last 3.5 minutes, have just been doing 3 and quit, 3 and quit.
Meanwhile, we're starting out, with a big tumble there for the Toulouse blocker. I think that was a back block penalty to legs. So this is an opportunity for Trash Panda to make the most of this power jam.
Yeah. But again, Toulouse had lined up in front. So Legs was pushing out up front, so was out of the pack when the penalty was assessed.
Oh, and that is Trash Panda taking that lead jammer status. Trash Panda now comes in on a scoring pass. Bounces off the back of Bully there, knocked to the inside, recycles back, comes around looking for a hole on the outside, but is met by more Paris blockers. The Paris blockers say you shall not pass.
Yeah. Just look at that, the strength of that defense. And again, it took 2 players from Toulouse bringing in offense to break up that wall, not just 1. You can't do offense with 1 now, you have to send 2.
Yeah. Lovely stuff, though, from Sweeney getting Trash Panda out to grab those 4 points, coming around on another scoring pass as Legs returns from the box. Legs having a tough time and, picks up a cut track penalty. So this is a second power jam in a row for Trash Panda.
We were talking about changing up the momentum and what Toulouse would want right now, and I think 2 jammer penalties in a jam is exactly what they wanted right now.
I think it absolutely is. And Trash Panda finding quite a sort of almost a serene route through the pack there until being stopped at the front by Paris, but Paris lose a blocker to the box. And Trash grabs another 4 points.
So huge jam for Toulouse as we are coming towards half-time. Calls the jam as Legs is standing, so it will start as a power jam to a power start to Toulouse. But Legs is standing, so less than 10 seconds before Paris get back on the track. So 12 points for Toulouse in that jam. Sort of equal second highest scoring jam.
Yeah, it's exciting.
It is exciting, and it's narrowed that gap down to 16 points.
Yeah. What I find really interesting, and you can possibly see from the stream here, as we have a little timeout to Paris.
Which is great tactics from the Paris bench.
Great tactics from the Paris bench. Is that, talking of great tactics, I feel like, I don't want to diss the Toulouse bench, but I am interested as to why, given that they currently have the bench closest to our S1 jam line, they keep taking the front.
Yes, and this is what we've been talking about, because
when you're at the front, you're putting yourself at that disadvantage to try to hold the jammer because you're already at the front.
Yeah, I mean, both of us have benched teams in the past, and we would be telling our team to take the back line.
Yeah, like the whole reason you switch benches at half-time is so that you each get the advantage of having the opportunity to take the back line or the front line. And it's really interesting that Toulouse have just gone, no, it's cool, you can have the back line, and it's not really working for them.
No, and again, this may be because that's what they traditionally do, and Paris know this, and so have been playing how do we get the best out of it.
Yeah.
But no, it's great tactics from Paris to call a timeout just after that massive jam for Toulouse, and they'd been...
Yeah.
You want to make sure that you go into half-time with as big a lead as possible if you are in the lead.
Yeah, and it gives Legs an opportunity to have that mental reset. Yeah. Take a deep breath. The jamnesia of put it behind you, start fresh.
So Legs standing in the box.
Missy Hammer on the track. Missy Hammer now at the front, pushing against that Paris wall. 2 still to pass. Picks up lead jammer status as Legs comes in fast to the back of the pack.
And facing that strong wall up front, but pushing Toulouse out of play.
And Paris now with 2 blockers in the box, so the big pack disadvantage, but it's not stopping them from hanging on to Missy Hammer, who is having a real fight to get through.
It's Bonnie Tagoul working with Track Sparrow, who have been holding back Missy Hammer for so long.
Gorgeous stuff. Presumably Toulouse being given the signal from the bench to run this because Legs is now out and scoring. I felt that as Missy Hammer taking a tumble there, but
that's let Legs get ahead of Missy in terms of the laps and where they are and in the pack. So obviously, as I say that, Missy Hammer stays on the track, but then is hit out again. It's Bonnie Tagoul is doing some incredible one-on-one blocking there.
Absolutely. Paris having some real blocker penalty trouble here. They've got a bit of a revolving door going on into that penalty box, which Toulouse ought to be able to help for.
But interestingly, if you have a quick look at the penalties, yes, there are more Paris blockers with penalties, but they're not as many. Toulouse have somebody already on 5 penalties.
Ooh. Ouch. Missy Hammer now knocked to the outside and recycled all the way back towards turn 4. Makes back on, trying to find a way through, trying to grab those points, doing a lovely little 1-foot hip wrap maneuver there to grab it. Gets another 4, calls it off.
Huge jam for Toulouse because they scored 12 points. Paris picking up 4. So this picking up 8. So there is now 77 to Roller Derby Toulouse. It's 89 to Paris Roller Derby. So 12 points between the 2 teams. Remember, it's been up to 30 at points.
Yeah.
But that is the half-time whistle. So it's the second jam in a row that Toulouse scored 12 points. They scored 24 of their 77 points in the last minute and a half.
I mean, that is exciting stuff. And we will have some more stats for you after the half-time.
Absolutely. We're going to hand over... Okay, so we will be handing over in a short moment for an interview, which we are interviewing somebody from London about the game before game one, which you may have already been watching today. But Paris clearly in control of this game. Roller Derby Toulouse are catching up, and then Paris are sort of stretching it out. And Toulouse have been relying on big jams.
Yeah.
Paris are doing it jam by jam by jam.
Yeah.
So, but not the result that anybody expected, I think, walking into this, apart from, I did say this might be the upset.
Yeah, who knows?
And, based on this half, if we repeat the sort of way that the game has been playing, I think, Paris have very clearly worked out how to stop Toulouse. And also how to get lead. I think that's the thing. Paris are coming out with lead. They're very happy to score 3 points and call the jam. And sort of win that way. And then Toulouse are having to wait for these moments of brilliance, or where we saw, for example, where Paris had 2 jammer penalties in the same jam. But jammer penalties are having a big impact. Toulouse having a large number of penalties, particularly in the first 20 minutes of that game. Paris were keeping it much tighter, and then we were seeing in the last 5 minutes, I think Paris picking up a number of blocker and jammer penalties.
Yeah, it was that last jam where they just had an absolute revolving door, and at one point there was only the one blocker on the track that really, I think, helped Toulouse out to close that points gap.
Yeah. So we're just waiting to see if we can hand over to the interview. So we are going to hand you over now to Loud and Queer.
Hello, I am trackside with Texas Heat from London Roller Derby, who had an amazing win in the first game of today, 199-56 against Dock City. Tex, how was the game for you?
It was really fun. Dock were really nice on the track as well, and it was still tough because we have stuff to do, and keeping up the aggression for the game. I think the second half was a bit harder for us. They scored more, so kudos to them. But it felt great. We have been working a lot, obviously coming up to EuroCup, and yeah, it was a good game to do our strategy, see what works and what doesn't work, and take those learning for tomorrow.
Yeah, of course. So you have another game 9 a.m. Tomorrow, so you can relax a little bit for the rest of the day. Was there anyone, like a particular moment or a particular skater that really stood out to you in that game from either team?
I think from our team, sorry, I'm going to be selfish a bit, the stand-up skater was probably Swan. Did really amazing offense, especially with Delta, our jammer, but also were just putting their butts on the way when needed. So yeah, I think a real standout for this game.
Yeah, it was a great game to watch, even though you clearly had the lead. Dock City put up a really great fight, and that's given you something to work towards for tomorrow. What are you looking forward to about tomorrow? It's probably going to be a very different game, no matter who you end up playing.
Yeah, no matter who we end up playing, it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be tough again. And what I'm looking to is just the vibes on the bench and keeping the mental up. And yeah, it's going to be tough, I think, mentally as well, because second game in the tournament, and then a third game, no matter the outcome, that we want to win. So yeah, what I'm looking forward to is just be there as a team, supporting each other, and just smashing it on the track, hopefully.
So good vibes, basically. Yeah. So we are going to wrap that up now, so you can go have your half time, get your beverages and so on, and then you can come back in about 10 minutes for the second half of Roller Derby Toulouse versus Paris Roller Derby. See you then. Welcome back to Trackside. I got so excited interviewing Texas Heat from London Roller Derby that I forgot that I also got to interview Villain from Dock City Rollers. So I'm really sorry about that, but we get to do the interview now. How was that first game for you? I mean, you lost, but it was a great game.
Yeah, like you say, of course we would have hoped to have a better result, but I think we're still happy with the game. We played better than we did last time we played them. The results are better, and I thought we're still happy.
I think definitely that second half you found your feet a bit more, and sometimes that's how tournaments go, right? So it was really great to see you play a contentious game. Was there a standout moment or a standout player? You are allowed to say someone from your own team if you want.
I honestly think that I'm so proud of the whole team. Super diplomatic and boring answer. But I think, like you mentioned, like we got it together and just like regrouped in halftime and just started like not having as many penalties and just working together, finding new strategies. And I'm super happy with the whole team for being like creative and problem solving and just, yeah, stepping up.
That is a very diplomatic answer, and I love how impartial you are because, yeah, your whole team are incredible. Obviously, now you reset, you have a couple more games. How do you reset and look forward to the next game? What are you looking forward to?
Well, we're super excited to play either Toulouse or Paris. So this is a super intense game, and we'll see who's come out winning and who we're gonna play later. Either way, we're really excited to play any of them. We haven't played them in a while. We've never played Toulouse, so that would be very interesting. Just regrouping, eating lots of snacks, refilling the energy levels, and playing a roller derby game at a maybe a bit more normal time than at 9 in the morning. It's gonna be nice.
I was going to say the 9 a.m. start is never in anyone's favour, but yeah, really excited to watch you play, and thank you for giving me your time away from your team. We have just a couple of minutes to go here until we resume Toulouse versus Paris. So, oh, you want to say one more thing? Yeah, absolutely.
Free Palestine and stop the genocide.
Thank you very much. So we will be back here in a couple of minutes with Toulouse versus Paris. So stay on the stream and we will see you shortly.
So, welcome back to EuroCup Day 1, Game 2. It is Toulouse versus Paris. 77 to Toulouse at halftime, 89 to Paris. Remember, Paris currently ranked 6th in Europe. Toulouse currently ranked in 4. In that first half, 22 penalties for Toulouse, 16 for Paris. So, and I think particularly Toulouse have got one player who's on 5 penalties. That's going to have an impact in the second half of this game.
Yeah.
I think we're really looking forward to seeing what happens. What are Toulouse going to do now? That's the question.
Yeah, if I were Toulouse, I would want to really capitalise on that last jam, try and, grab the line, come in, super physical, bash Paris around a bit, essentially.
And we're underway. There's the whistle.
And we have got Kata for Roller Derby Toulouse with the star, Lamoche with the star for Paris Roller Derby. Looks like that is going to be... Kata is really caught up in the fact they're trying to find a way through, caught by Track Sparrow. Lamoche off for a track cut penalty. And that allows Kata to grab another lead jammer status for Toulouse.
So we saw in the last couple of jams of the last half where Paris jammers were picking up penalties, and that's how they've opened the second half. Not the way they'd want to, but great opportunity for Kata to sort of put their stamp on, the game in this first jam.
Yeah, absolutely. Kata having a bit of a fight. The pivot there doing a sort of a little helmet tap, possibly signalling you can pass the star to me, but obviously Kata will... want to try not to, keep pushing, try and get those points.
Bonnie Tagoul, part of that impressive wall, but some offense coming in from Toulouse to free up.
And that is Lamoche now coming back in and on a scoring pass, caught there by the hips of 999 from Roller Derby Toulouse, Kilboo.
Just having a look to see how the points fell in that jam. So it is 4 points to Toulouse, 2 to Paris.
That means currently 91 to Paris Roller Derby, 81 to Roller Derby Toulouse. That is maths that even I can do. That is a 10-point differential. It's exciting. So the winner of this game is going to be playing against Rainy City. And I think they both want to win because they both want to play Rainy. Off we go with Missy Hammer for Roller Derby Toulouse, Cass for Paris Roller Derby, and Missy Hammer with another lead jammer status for Roller Derby Toulouse.
Second jam in a row in this half, and I think, you can see that Toulouse have come out wanting to stamp their control on this game. Paris very much in control in the first half. But Toulouse very happy to take the points. That's actually the 4th jam in a row that Toulouse have had lead. So the last 2 jams of the first half, first 2 jams of this half. And, they scored 24 points in the last 2 jams of that half. So, It's like they started their second half 2 jams before half time.
It's the sequential jams count either side of the half. Trash Panda for Roller Derby Toulouse with the star, Legs with the star for Paris, and Trash Panda out with a 5th lead jammer status.
I want to know what their half-time talk was, because it was obviously effective.
I would, yeah. Trash Panda comes around, grabs quick 4 points. Meanwhile, Paris have passed that star to Bonnie Tagoul. Bonnie Tagoul coming in on a scoring pass as Trash Panda comes in on a, I want to say, second scoring pass. Trash Panda relying on those Toulouse blockers who have really shut down on Bonnie Tagoul and are just absolutely denying Bonnie that pass.
But Paris also with strong defence. And just as I say that, Trash Panda gets out.
Yeah. It is the announcer's curse. Trash now on a 3rd scoring pass, finds a little hole on the outside there. Beautifully done. Sort of squats down, whizzes past. An easy 4 there for Roller Derby Toulouse.
And again, it's, you know, they're now on 12 points in this jam, just as Trash is coming through and picking up points 13 to 16. You know, 5th jam in a row now where Toulouse have been in control and have put on large numbers of points.
Yeah, Toulouse have lost Baboon to the penalty box for forearms.
And actually, Toulouse now, this is a lead change during this jam.
Yeah, I mean, that's exciting stuff.
And they've been 30 points behind Paris from, 20 to 30 points behind for most of the game.
Yeah,
and now are in the lead, taking them to 99 points.
Phenomenal. Bonnie Tagoul there was knocked out, recycled back, knocked to the inside now, recycled again. And Trash Panda just trusting in her blockers to keep hanging on to Bonnie Tagoul as she cruises around, getting so far our highest scoring jam of the game on 16 points. Toulouse now about to break that century mark.
I mean, the previous highest scoring jam for both teams was in the same jam, where they scored 13 and 14. So, just wait and see how many more. That's definitely the highest scoring jam of the game, with Toulouse picking up 18 points, taking them to the lead, 101 points. Paris picking up 4, taking them to 95.
If you are playing everyone's favourite roller derby hydration game, that is a lead change. So there's time to take a sip of your bottle of water or coffee. As
cup of tea,
squash. I mean, I think some of the refs are running mainly on cans of Monster. Your beverage of choice. Off we go again into Jam 4. We have Kata for Roller Derby Toulouse, La Moche for Paris Roller Derby.
And it's Paris that have the blocker advantage with number 19 for Toulouse. That is Sweeney in the penalty box.
Oh, that's going to be La Moche making a sprint up the outside there, putting an end to that run of Toulouse leads.
I think that's important for Paris if they want to win this game, which they clearly do. Oh, very interesting. So that was a hop to the inside by La Moche, but because the Toulouse blocker had both hands on the ground, they were out of play. So it was a no pass, no penalty.
Absolutely lovely stuff. Meanwhile, Kata having a real problem getting out of that pack, makes a quick star pass though there to the Toulouse blocker pivot, Sweeney. Sweeney now with the star as La Moche is off to the penalty box for a sit down.
This couldn't be at a more difficult time for Paris. They were able to sort of come back and then to face another jammer penalty.
Yeah. Toulouse are just 3 points ahead, so they will be looking to Sweeney to get some points on the board and try and expand that lead. Sweeney there now coming in on a second scoring pass, trying to find a way through. Caught by the Paris blockers at the front of the pack, knocked to the outside. A little recycle there, but hops straight back on.
Great work from Paris trying to get a shadow cut, but Sweeney saw that and was able to move back.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we're having a little bit of backwards roller derby as we recycle all the way around to turn 4.
I don't understand why Toulouse are letting that happen, because it happened earlier in the game as well. And, both packs do not have to go backwards.
Yeah, it's interesting. I suppose when both jammers are off the track, at least as far as they're concerned, La Moche is not scoring. Sweeney having taken a star pass is maybe not your top jammer rotation, so you might as well run the clock. Who knows?
Who knows? Interesting bench decision, and our benches are sponsored by Rollerbones. Rollerbones wheels and bones bearings make for a winning combination, and you can check them out at rollerbones.com. Thank you for sponsoring the benches.
And with this lovely shot from our stream team, we can tell you that we have got Missy Hammer facing off against Cass coming into this next jam.
Cass has really stood out for me as a jammer in this first half. Just in, I mean, obviously the footwork and sort of physicality, but also the athleticism, the apex jumps. We all love an apex jump.
We do love an apex jump.
Yeah. So we're in a quick official timeout. So, and a quick change of personnel on the Toulouse lineup.
Yeah. Just a little swap round. I think Missy Hammer might have been Toulouse's highest scoring jammer, but we'll wait for some confirmation from our lovely producer on that one. And in the meantime, I'm just going to declare it like it's true because no one can prove me wrong yet.
So 188 points for Toulouse, 102 for Paris. We have 22 minutes left.
Off we go. Missy Hammer finds a space on the outside there, picks up a super quick lead jammer status. Meanwhile, Cass is caught in a sort of revolving wall of blockers.
And again, we're seeing the two static walls separated by a good 10 to 20 feet, depending on the bridging. Whereas a lot of other games, you're seeing the walls having to move around each other.
Yeah. There is some lovely stuff going on here from those Toulouse blockers, hanging on to Cass, knocking Cass to the inside with the big drawback as Missy Hammer grabs a quick 4 points there.
And it's Paris with two blockers in the penalty box. So this gives Missy Hammer significant pack advantage.
And there's some lovely stuff going on from the Toulouse blockers here, just consistently knocking Cass, little recycle, knock, recycle, knock, recycle.
And that's just soul destroying when you're a jammer.
Oh, it really is. I mean, Cass, they're going for a leap up the apex, but doesn't land it, unfortunately had to recycle, but finally does make it out on that initial pass. And Missy Hammer says, well, I'll call it then, thanks.
So 12 points for Toulouse in that jam. That seems to be Toulouse's favourite number.
Yep.
120 points, taking Paris to 102. So they're still only 18 points behind each other. But interestingly, Paris had to take, 10 minutes to get that kind of lead. And Toulouse have done that, sort of that change and established that lead in less than, from being 20 points behind to 18 points ahead in 10 minutes.
That is a hell of a play.
Yeah.
If you're watching at home with your children, today's number, children, it's the number 12.
So we're in an official timeout. So it's a chance to thank 187 killer pads, often imitated, never duplicated. Stick with the best. And, we all know that pads have a lot of Velcro, so there's a lot of stick.
There is a lot of stick. Sticky pads.
It will be I think what will be really interesting is what Paris do now. So Toulouse have come out and said, right, you've had your fun.
Yeah.
We're back in charge now, and this is the Toulouse we kind of expected to see.
Yeah.
So it's how are Paris going to respond? Because they were clearly in control for 28 minutes of that first half.
They were.
Maybe 27, but, the absolute 90% of the first half, they were in control.
Yeah.
And so it'll be really interesting to see what they do now. How are they going to respond? How are they going to take control back?
Yeah. Take them out in this official time. I'd say a big thank you to our officials in this game. We've currently got Alex, Lys, Kiravi, Pussy Panzervez, Juligan, Agricola, Kathy Van Orten, and Speedy Convalesci.
We unfortunately haven't got a list of all of the officials, but we thank each and every one of you.
We do. We love you all.
And, and our crew sponsor is Rydell, who have been advancing the sport of skating for 70 years. No matter what your rink choice, Rydell has figure skates and roller skates you'll love. And also to note, it is Juligan's 100th game.
I mean, that's exciting.
Which, if you follow the rules of celebrating games in officiating, there's not a damn thing.
Yes.
Is the appropriate reward for 100 games.
Yeah. Possibly written on a piece of paper.
So Juligan, thank you for all you've brought to roller derby, but sadly not a damn thing for you.
Absolutely. We are off again. That was an incredibly speedy trip for Trash Panda. Cass starting in the box. I think that was a between jams penalty picked up there. Trash Panda now on a scoring pass. Toppled to the floor. Tiny little recycle and back pushing.
And Paris with a significant number of blockers in the box, 2 released. So Toulouse having that significant pack advantage. But even then, Paris were able to hold back Trash Panda fourth, a good sort of 10, 15 seconds.
Oh, and that was like a bumper car bounce and star pass going on there from Cass to Bully. Bully bunker for Paris Roller Derby. Trash Panda, meanwhile, knocked to the inside and recycled back there as Paris lose another blocker to the box. Ooh. That was a big hit on Trash Panda there, going to the inside, going down, but bouncing back up like it was nothing.
And again, we've got both teams having static walls, 10 to 20 feet, 10 feet apart, with excellent spatial awareness from both teams to make sure that the packs stay together.
Yeah. And Trash Panda makes it through, grabs those 4 points as we lose a Toulouse blocker to the box this time. Switching places with Cass, who is our jammer turned blocker. Trash Panda now knocked to the outside, recycled back there by 5-6 from Paris Roller Derby. That is Cass. Poor Trash Panda just keeps absorbing these massive hits, crashing to the floor and then popping back up, coming back in. Meanwhile, Bully has completed their first scoring pass, coming around on a second, and Trash Panda calls it off.
So that is, of the last 6 jams, Toulouse have had lead 5 times. And you can just see that they were 77, they were sort of 12 points behind at half time. And in the last 12 minutes, they've put on 60 points.
I mean, that is some lovely gameplay from Toulouse.
And we have a team timeout called by Paris. Not a huge surprise.
No. I was really enjoying the sheer bounciness of Paris's bench, who just looked really delighted to be calling a team timeout. It's like, bouncy, 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 team timeout, please. Bouncy, bouncy.
It's making sure that they're seen.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. It's just really lovely to watch.
Because, Sucker Punch sponsor, our bench sponsors, they want everybody to be seen.
Yeah.
So, but yes, Paris need to work out what they're going to do now.
They do.
Because the way they're playing the game hasn't changed, but Toulouse have. So they need to now address, how do we stop, how do we get our jammers out first now? Because that was what was happening for 27 minutes.
Yeah.
And now it's gone the other way. And, the personnel haven't changed.
No.
So it's how they, Toulouse are working out how to lock down the Paris jammers. So they have to mix it up.
It's all about your reaction. You're going like, okay, they've changed what they're doing, so what do we do now? How do we react to this? How do we change?
How do we change the jammers that we put up? How do we put different defense in or offense to get our jammers out?
Do we switch up our jammer rotation? Do we try something else?
Yeah.
What do we do? What do we do?
We'll find out now.
We will. Lamoche is out for Paris Roller Derby, up against Kata for Roller Derby Toulouse. And, that is Lamoche at the front, but knocked out at the last by a Toulouse blocker, meaning that now Kata is your foremost jammer. Again, though, Kata having a real fight. A lovely bit of offense coming in there, though, from the Toulouse pivot, who's now, unfortunately, I think, picked up a forearms penalty for it.
But Paris able to have somebody bridging and defense up front, so they're able to hold back Lamoche.
Lamoche, meanwhile, has pushed that pack all the way up until they join, and just finally, nearly 45 seconds in, makes it out as lead jammer.
It's the first jam in some jams, I think only second jam this half that Paris have had lead. What did we say? They needed to be getting lead.
Yeah.
They clearly heard us when they were having their timeout.
Yeah. Interestingly, choosing there to call it off, having picked up those 4 points.
But when you are only 20 points behind, it is more about stopping Toulouse scoring anything.
It is.
They have 17 minutes to close that gap, so that's smart tactics for me.
Well, I thought Kata was still on that initial pass, but you've got to play the game as you can see it.
But also, it had been quite a long jam, and so time for a new jammer.
Yeah, time for a rest. Fresh legs. Missy Hammer out for Roller Derby Toulouse. Star with the Star for Paris Roller Derby. First time we've seen them this half. Haven't seen as much of Star, who is pushing and pushing against those Toulouse jammers and trapped on that inside line as Toulouse lock down hard on Star. Now trying for the outside, but Toulouse once again recycling around. Missy Hammer taking a tumble, going over the top of a Paris blocker there to pick up lead jammer status.
But that took nearly 30 seconds. And we have a star pass as well for Paris, trying to avoid those 12-point scoring passes. It is Bonnie Tagoul who is now jamming for Paris.
Lovely Bonnie Tagoul.
So waiting to see whether Toulouse are going to call it, and they do.
Yeah. Missy Hammer goes for that little hip swing to grab that last possible point, calls it off before Bonnie can start scoring. Because now we've had the reverse of the sort of first half of the game where it's Paris going, well, we're ahead, so we'll just keep calling it. Well, we're ahead. Now Toulouse are ahead, and they're like, well, we'll just keep calling it because we're ahead.
25 points ahead, 135 plays 110. 15 minutes, 50 seconds left in this game. We said it would be spicy.
We did. Spicy, spicy. Legs has the star for Paris. Trash Panda with the star for Roller Derby Toulouse. Legs is at the front there, but having some trouble. It's a really tight pack. Now we've got Trash Panda at the front, but caught by two Paris blockers. And they're trading places back and forth, back and forth.
We did see some dynamic walling to keep both jammers back, but we're now back to the static two walls.
I mean, Toulouse there.
Yes.
I was going to say doing a lovely sort of dynamic wall job hanging on to Legs, but Legs is now out with lead jammer status.
And we have a star pass from Toulouse, who are trying to force the call off. Sweeney now jamming. So waiting to see what Paris do. They call the jam. Yep. With that hit out, that was the smart move to take.
Absolutely.
Wait and see the points.
Well, you can just see, just in the corner of your screen, though, so our lovely jam ref going to confer with the OPR, because obviously with Legs right on the outside there, you want to make sure that you give the right points.
So that was the first star pass for Toulouse in this half, because they haven't needed to, because they've been in the lead.
And Paris with lead there, picking up 1 point.
I think they were hoping for the 4.
I think they were as well.
So we're in an official timeout. So, you know, this has been an exciting game. I think the next game is also going to be super exciting. Crime versus Helsinki, I believe.
Yeah, that's going to be a great game.
And that's at 1 o'clock here. And the winner of this game, as we keep saying, will be playing Rainy City at 5 o'clock today. And the loser of this game will be playing Dock City at 3 o'clock. So there's, you know, there's medals to play for. So we have some of the first. I've seen the medals.
Zero waste medals.
Zero waste medals. They're wooden and they're gorgeous.
They're very pretty.
And whoever has done the branding work for this tournament has done an amazing job, because anything with croissants with faces,
yes,
I'm here for.
I'm a fan. It took me a very long time to realise that this wasn't each team's mascot. But also, I think if I'm with the teams, I would be adopting those as my new mascot.
Yeah. It's Becky Fisk who designed this. Absolutely cracking job, Becky. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And it's bringing me joy.
They're good. Good work, Becky. We have Kata and Cass, and I'm going to apologise in advance if I get them the wrong way round. It is Cass for Paris Roller Derby, recycled all the way around to turn 4. Kata pushing at the front. Kata
pushes out the front and gains the lead. Yeah.
It just stopped there. That was the pause of someone trying to work out if they were saying the right CA starting name.
There's a clue. One of them plays in blue and one of them plays in white.
Yeah, it's really confusing, though, when you're me. Kata is your lead jammer. Roller Derby Toulouse pushing now at the front of that pack, but knocked out, recycled back into turn 4.
And again, both packs allowing the reverse roller derby to happen.
Yeah.
Not something I'm used to seeing.
It's interesting because, I mean, well, Cass is currently stashing that star, and I suppose from Toulouse's perspective, why not? Kata on the scoring pass in a real fight there, caught on the inside, knocked just knocked in, recycled back there by White 7-1 Louvre. I'm
just having a what happened there was Cass attempted a star pass, and I believe that there was some shenanigans, I think is the technical term.
Yep.
And the pivot has been sent to the box, So I think there was a star pass violation of some kind, or a failure to return either. Quite possibly. But so it wasn't the jammer that went to the box, it was the pivot that went to the box.
And pivot sitting as a blocker for that penalty.
Because I saw it go from the pivot to the jammer, and I'm like, surely it goes the other way round.
It's the pause where we go, hang on a minute.
So we're underway on the next jam.
Missy Hammer for roller derby Toulouse with the star. First time out with the star for Paris is Moshe Moshi. That's going to be hard to say at speed. But Missy Hammer is out as your lead jammer coming in round now on a scoring pass. Moshe is trapped in that pack, being churned around as Missy Hammer picks up a penalty, a forearms penalty, off for a little sit down in the box. So we will have.
And that's the first time we've seen the Toulouse jammer in the box for, a large number of jams.
Yeah. So an opportunity here for Moshe to grab some points. Unfortunately, though, Moshe having a real fight trying to get out. I think actually we might have. No, I thought it was a star pass, but there wasn't. It was just a pivot and a jammer stood close together. That was a star pass from Moshe to Gypsy Queen. Much easier to say at speed.
And, there's nothing to be lost by doing that, because this will be a full 2-minute jam. We have 52 seconds left. And it is Paris who are on a scoring pass, but I believe Missy Hammer is still on their initial.
I fully lost track, I must admit. We'll find out in a minute. No, Missy Hammer is also on a scoring pass. Missy Hammer picks up 4 points there. So Gypsy Queen now caught up in that pack as Missy Hammer comes in. Oh, picks up a penalty.
Oh, a second jammer penalty in the same jam.
I believe that was a low block penalty there for Missy Hammer on Moshe. So Gypsy Queen now out on that first scoring pass, picks up a quick 4 points there.
So this is an important jam for Paris with 11 minutes left in this game. That chance to close down the gap. At the moment, the scoreboard is showing same points for each team, but Gypsy Queen is on a scoring pass. The Toulouse jammer is standing, so this will be a power start to Paris.
But not a long one.
But not a long one. They're holding up. There's at least 7 seconds left.
Yep.
Just trying to read the jammer's hands.
It's good communication there from the box to the track.
But Paris putting 7 points on that jam. Toulouse 6. So only 1 point. So what can Paris do in this jam?
Well,
in 7 seconds or less.
Yeah, we had a little bit of an S1 pivot line start there, but they all ran back at the last possible minute. It worked nicely for Toulouse as Lamoche is knocked to the outside. First time we've seen Lamoche at the start, I think. But Paris, Lamoche having a fight to get through. Missy Hammer returns to the track. Missy Hammer is at the front and picks up lead jammer status. Missy Hammer now coming around on a scoring pass as Lamoche is stashing that star. Takes a big hit there off Missy Hammer, who is knocked just to the outside. A little tiny recycle there from Paris.
Louvre from Paris pushing their blocker colleague right to the edge, was able to hold back Missy Hammer that bit longer.
It's lovely stuff. It's if you can't get there, throw your friend at them. Meanwhile, Missy Hammer being held tight there by Louvre and Sally Boyer as we have a star pass from Paris to Bonnie Tagoul.
An incredible example of side surfing, but because of that star pass, Toulouse weren't aware that Bonnie was coming on the outside.
And that allows Paris to force that call off for Roller Derby Toulouse. Currently, your score stands at 148 to Roller Derby Toulouse, 119 to Paris Roller Derby.
And we have 9 minutes left in this game.
It's just too exciting.
It's still too close.
It really is. Trash Panda has the star for Roller Derby Toulouse. Legs has the star for Paris Roller Derby and the lead.
But Trash Panda is also out and just half a lap behind.
I mean, I think it's going to be a speedy one. Legs coming in. Ooh, slightly flailing there. Tries desperately to stay in on the outside line, but does not quite manage it. Hops up.
And lost the opportunity to call that jam with that tumble.
Yep.
So Toulouse now on a lap ahead.
So legs, obviously, I think, looking to get the points. A big hit there, trying to get a big hit on Trash Panda, but Trash Panda just shrugs it off, cruising round.
But Paris playing this long because they lost that opportunity, but they had 2 blockers in the box.
Yeah.
That is not a jam that you want to play long on. And so with Paris with the lead, Toulouse have picked up 8 points on that jam, Paris only 4. So this is the 3rd time Paris have had lead in the second half.
I mean, that's a hell of a stat.
Yes, there was the jammer was on the floor and missed the opportune time to call it off, but to let another lap go.
But then I suppose possibly the option to instead go, well, at least I'll clear the box. We have now got Kata and Cass, because apparently the benches know that I'm having trouble with this. Kata is your jammer for Toulouse. Cass is your jammer for Paris.
But we have 2 Toulouse blockers in the box, so Paris with the pack advantage.
But it is going to be Kata with lead jammer status, although Cass coming in incredibly close behind. I mean,
next to.
Yeah, right behind. I think Cass perhaps wanting to follow Kata.
And actually, Cass has overtaken Kata. Both jammers now out of that scoring pass. So I think it's going to be equal glory. 4 points for each team in that jam. And the minutes are going. It is 6 minutes 45 left in this game. It is 33 points between the 2 teams. There is time for this to change. But Paris are going to have to get lead pretty much between now and the end.
Yeah, it is. At this stage, it is, I would still legitimately say it's anyone's game. But
Paris have come back into this game in the last sort of 3 or 4 jams, but haven't been able to put on the 12 points jams that we've seen Toulouse do when the momentum shift. So let's see this jam.
They have put Legs out as their lead jammer, and Legs has been their strongest jammer of this half. Legs has lead jammer status, and Missy Hammer is embroiled in the pack, trying to find a way through, but struggling to get past those Paris blockers as Legs comes in with a beautiful apex jump to pick up 4 points there.
This is what we wanted to see, to make the last 6 minutes more exciting than this has already been.
I mean, Toulouse have just lost 2 blockers to the box. Paris have lost 1 to the box. Missy Hammer has not yet made out on an initial. Legs is just cruising around doing massive jumps. What more do you want from roller derby?
We love an apex jump.
Yeah, Missy Hammer is fighting those.
But what's wonderful for is just watching how focused the Paris blockers are on Missy Hammer. They are ignoring their jammer and whether their jammer needs them. They're totally focused on locking down Missy Hammer.
That was a lovely bit of offense there from Legs, who took out the Toulouse pivot, spotting that star pass coming up to Champagne, so knocked Champagne down just to slow down that star pass and gain themselves another opportunity to score.
Champagne now scoring points, but Paris still choosing to play this long, and it's Legs on their 5th scoring pass.
I mean, that's what you call a scoring pass.
And one blocker up front from Toulouse, but the pack is reabsorbing Legs. The crowd are genuinely going wild.
They really are. I mean, it's so exciting. Whilst Legs having trouble there, Champagne just whizzes on by, like, oh no, it's cool, I'm just going to go here, thanks, and have these points. Legs trying to find a way not to the outside there, and decides to call it off as Champagne comes in on another scoring pass.
So, massive jam for Paris. 20 points in that jam. Toulouse picking up. Just waiting to see if there's more to be added. I wish Paris had called that jam about 15 seconds earlier than they did. There was an extra scoring pass for Toulouse. Because I just want a really close game.
Yeah. But I think 20 points there for Paris is our biggest jam we've seen.
Yeah. But I think the problem is Toulouse picked up 8, and if they'd called that jam, if they hadn't run it quite as long, it would have been a bigger points differential. But still really important. Now just 21 points between the 2 teams, and in not a surprise to anyone, Toulouse has called a timeout.
Yeah, I mean, if I were Toulouse, I'd be like, oh, you've just had a massive jam. No momentum for you. You can't have it. The momentum is ours.
Yes, as you can tell, we are all quite excited at this moment.
It's very exciting. It's like, oh, they're doing really cool things.
And if you remember, the predictor was saying that Toulouse would win by 160 something to Paris's 130. So the differential is already closer than it was expected.
Yeah, I mean,
And
also,
Paris are close enough that in 4 minutes they could win this game.
if the predictor was 160 something to 130 something, and
Yep.
we're currently on 160 something to 140 something, the predictor is
See, I can do those maths.
good. The
Yeah.
predictor is good.
Yeah. So there was also a small delay. So Toulouse, and looking at the penalties, Paris have had quite a large number of penalties, but they're quite spread with one player on 5. Toulouse have had one player on 5, one player on 6, and one player has actually fouled out.
Ooh.
So, they're in more penalty trouble in terms of who do they put on the track in these last 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to make a big difference to them.
Yeah, it's number 72 that has found out, Nina Backdraft, and Champagne, who we just saw, excellent pivot jammer, is on 5.
Yeah. Trash Panda grabs quick lead jammer status there as Lamoche is stashing the star, looking for a route through, but Toulouse have shut down and said no.
Yeah. Which is what that's why they called the timeout. They were really focused on what they were going to do in this jam, because this jam was going to be absolutely crucial.
Absolutely. I mean, there's some lovely blocking coming here from those Paris blockers, and we've had a little star pass meanwhile from Lamoche to Bonnie to Goul. As Trash Panda comes round, having picked up those 4 points, looks to the bench, looks for the signal of whether or not to call it, and again, it looks like the Toulouse bench is opting to run it and trust in their blockers to hang on to our pivot jammer.
And that's paying off for them at the moment. Bonnie Tagul was hit out and recycled just as Trash Panda made a scoring pass. So that was the right call by the Toulouse bench.
Absolutely. There's a lovely sort of dynamic 3-all going on here, just shutting down Bonnie Tagul as...
Yeah.
I mean, do you feel there's a lovely dynamic
Well, it's not
4-wall?
dynamic, it's static.
Well, it was dynamic until I mentioned it, and then they stopped. There's a very static wall that stopped Trash Panda, where they've just all...
And we've seen this throughout the game, that the defence is so tight that, you're in 2 walls and both move fractionally.
Yeah.
But it is Trash Panda who has got out.
Trash Panda really pulling that lead away now. 12 points
Yeah.
on the board for Trash Panda, coming in on another scoring pass.
And I think with 2 minutes left in this game, this jam was going to be, are Paris going to come back? And Toulouse have taken control and said, no, we're going to have another 12-point or higher jam.
Yeah. All your points belong to us, please. Bonnie Tagul trying to find a little hole, bounces up the inside there, but struggling. Bonnie waiting for some offence coming in there from Lamoche, but unfortunately not enough to get them out.
16 points for Toulouse. At this stage, I think putting the game out of reach for Paris. So 184 now playing 151. It's a 33-point gap between the two teams. 1 minute 40 left on the clock.
Yeah, I have seen a 36-point jam in my announcing career, but only once.
I've seen a 49 one.
And I mean, if anyone's going to be able to do it, it is Legs, but we shall see. Legs up against Kata. Not a matchup I think we've seen for a while. Kata caught at the back of the pack there, Legs pushing on the front. Some offence coming in from that French. I was going to say French pivot, they're all French.
But both jammers out almost at the same time, just as Paris have lead.
Legs has lead, but Kata has the front after a little bit of jammer on jammer action.
And Paris bench is desperately asking Legs to call off that jam.
Yeah. It's like, no, don't let them have the points.
No.
That's good clock management as well from Paris, aware that there is just a minute left on the period clock.
But this means that there is at least one more jam.
At least one more jam. At least once more. And for our possibly final jam, but who knows?
Why did you do that?
Well, I'd just like to jinx it. We have got Missy Hammer up against Cass.
Yeah. No jam this half had been scoreless until that jam.
Crikey, that's exciting.
Yeah, 17 scoring jams.
I mean, lovely stuff really from the Toulouse jammer to make it happen. Missy Hammer pushing on the front of that Paris pack, stretching them out, just 2 left to pass. It's a long pack, and that was, I think it was a no pack, and thus Missy Hammer grabs lead jammer status and control of the clock in our final jam.
Pushing the Paris blockers out front. We saw in the first half Toulouse were taking the back and Paris were taking the front.
Yeah.
sorry, the other way around, so that Paris was scoring, and now we're seeing it back the other way.
And I was going to say, this is where you see the clock management, is that Missy Hammer could have called it there and then, but instead goes in, tries to grab a last couple of points, calls it off as that star pass to the pivot jammer comes in.
So,
And that's 2 points on the board there.
yeah. So the unofficial final score is 186 points to Roller Derby Toulouse. Paris Roller Derby on 151. So Roller Derby Toulouse move forward to play Rainy City at 5 o'clock tonight. Paris will be playing Dock City at 3 o'clock. It's ended up being roughly what was predicted, but it was not expected how we got there.
Yeah, what a game that was.
And I think Paris have so much to take away from this. They absolutely controlled that first half until Toulouse came back full force. And there were moments like when we were about 5 minutes to go where they were back within striking distance. Huge amount for Paris to take away. Obviously, Toulouse will be delighted with the win. We will see you back here at 1 o'clock for Crime City versus Helsinki. We've had our wonderful producer, Jack Skatington. I've been Dork Mistress.
I have been Duke Special.
We will see you at 1 o'clock.